Imagine a hidden gateway nestled deep within the Swedish wilderness, where reindeer wander freely and researchers ski through snowy winters. This remote location is one of Europe's key hopes to break into the fiercely competitive world of the space race. But here's where it gets controversial. Europe has long depended on the United States for access to space security and launch capabilities. Yet recent geopolitical shifts and booming commercial markets have sparked a crucial rethink. Located in Kiruna, Sweden, the Esrange Space Center is a state-owned facility playing a pivotal role as Europe seeks to establish an independent orbital rocket program. The goal is clear: to enable the continent to launch satellites directly from its mainland, reducing dependence on foreign launch sites, and asserting Europe's position in the global aerospace arena. The gap between Europe and other spacefaring powers is striking, explains Hermann Ludwig Möller, director of the European Space Policy Institute. To stay relevant in the next 5 to 10 years, Europe will need to at least double its investment in space infrastructure and technology. And even that may not be enough, as other regions are rapidly accelerating their own capabilities. Currently, the majority of Europe's orbital launches come from the facility in French Guiana, a sparsely populated French overseas region located about 500 kilometers north of the equator in South America. Beyond this site, European missions often rely on NASA's renowned Cape Canaveral launch base in Florida, highlighting the continent's ongoing dependency on the U.S. March of this year marked a significant milestone when ESAR Aerospace, a private German aerospace company, conducted the maiden test flight of its orbital vehicle from Andøya Spaceport, another northern European launch site situated on a remote island in northern Norway. Although the rocket fell into the sea just 30 seconds after liftoff, this brief flight was viewed as a success by the company, which had anticipated early failures and approached the test as crucial learning for future missions. Möller predicts that within the next year, Europe may witness a successful orbital launch taking off directly from continental soil, although he refrains from guessing the exact location. Countries including Portugal, Spain, Italy, Germany, and the United Kingdom are all actively working to expand Europe's network of spaceports and contribute to the continent's aspirations. Looking beyond Europe, other nations have made remarkable strides in space exploration. India, for example, has been engaged in space research since the 1960s, launching satellites not only for itself, but for other countries as well. A crowning achievement was placing a spacecraft in orbit around Mars in 2014. Despite a setback in 2019 with a failed moon landing attempt, India shocked the world in 2023 by successfully touching down near the moon's south pole, an area previously unexplored where scientists theorize frozen water deposits could exist. This mission was hailed as a landmark achievement for the world's most populous country. Meanwhile, New Zealand boasts a rapidly growing launch industry, and Australia is steadily developing its commercial space sector, emphasizing how the space race is no longer limited to traditional superpowers. Esrange and Andøya trace their origins back to the 1960s, with much of their continuing appeal tied to their high-latitude geography. Esrange, owned and operated by the Swedish Space Corporation, is located more than 200 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. This allows the center's extensive network of over 30 antennas to maintain robust communication links with satellites passing over the polar region, which would be far more challenging for lower latitude ground stations near the equator. One of Esrange's most compelling assets is its vast size, spanning 6 square kilometers, where scientists conduct a variety of space-related experiments, including tests for Martian lander parachutes, suborbital rocket launches, and high-altitude balloon projects. But perhaps the most impressive feature is its sprawling rocket landing zone, covering approximately 5,200 square kilometers of pristine forests and tundra. This unpopulated expanse, stretching nearly to the borders of Norway and Finland, offers a safe area for rocket stages to descend without endangering human lives. The region's only inhabitants are often the Sami indigenous peoples, who herd reindeer across these lands. The Space Center ensures they are notified before any rocket tests, recognizing the importance of coordinating launch activities with traditional lifestyles. As Matthias Abrahamsson, Esrange's business development director, pointed out during a recent visit, when the rocket motors fall, we must guarantee it's no more dangerous to be in the area, whether you're picking berries, hunting, or fishing, than being in a busy city like New York or Stockholm. Similarly, Andoya's remote island location allows rockets to be safely launched over the sea, where any debris falls harmlessly into the ocean. Yet, this European ambition to carve out a spacefaring identity plays out against a complex geopolitical backdrop. Earlier this year, during his first week as U.S. president, Donald Trump announced a $175 billion Golden Dome missile defense initiative designed to shield America against long-range missile threats. If realized, this system would be the first deployment of weapons in space aimed at intercepting enemy missiles mere seconds after launch, mirroring China's 2021 innovation with an orbital warhead system. Europe, by contrast, currently lacks comparable capabilities and has long relied on the U.S. for space security and defense. However, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance issued a stark warning at the Munich Security Conference in February, urging European leaders not to depend solely on American protection. Europe must step up in a big way, he declared, highlighting internal challenges as Europe's biggest security threat. Vance's speech, coupled with unease over Elon Musk's political positions, potentially affecting Ukraine's reliance on his Starlink satellite network during its conflict with Russia, has fueled European anxieties. It's become glaringly obvious that Europe needs its own autonomous space infrastructure with independent control over critical capabilities. As Moeller explained, Europe must have the means to respond on its own terms without reliance on external powers. Beyond geopolitics, the rise of commercial space companies is reshaping the industry. Innovative ventures like Musk's SpaceX and Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin have demonstrated that space is no longer the sole domain of government agencies like NASA. It's a lucrative arena ripe for private enterprise. The number of satellites orbiting Earth is expected to surge over the next 5 years, and organizations like the Swedish Space Corporation, developing orbital launches and rocket testing at Esrange, are positioning themselves to benefit from this exponential growth. Ulrika Unell, president of Esrange's Science Division, emphasizes the critical importance of satellites for everyday life on Earth. She encourages the public to realize the unseen impact of those objects hundreds of kilometers above us. I ask people to consider this when they use their mobile phones and data daily. Have you ever wondered where that information comes from and how it's gathered? She says, space is increasingly becoming a vital resource for all of society. So, with Europe stepping out from under America's shadow and into the wider cosmic competition, will the continent finally gain the